Hello, everyone. Welcome back. All right, we got another cool little story here. Hadrian's Wall. Hadrian, of course, Roman emperor between the years 117, 138. He's known for building Hadrian's Wall, but if you kind of watch till the end of this short lecture, he's also responsible for a very important atrocity in Roman history. That's a whole other story that I'll kind of share another video link to at the end of this. But for those of you who know a little bit about Hadrian's Wall or may have never heard about it, I'm hoping to give you a little bit of information about it in this short video. So let's go to our first slide here. And just a little quick history here in terms of how the Roman world, of course, Hadrian being a Roman emperor, even moved into Britain. So, everyone's heard of Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar around the year 55 BC moves into Britain, but does not conquer Britain for the Romans. It wasn't until the Roman Emperor Claudius in the year 43 AD, he moves in, sweeps in, and takes control of Britain for the Roman world. Now, Britain, of course, is an island, and therefore, for the Romans to control it, there was some concern that there were tribes in the northern part of Britain, known as the Caledonians, that could have been a threat to Rome. And so Hadrian, he made the decision to build this wall, Hadrian's Wall, and I'm going to give you some details and more statistics about it and some images of it in a second, basically to kind of, as he says, separate Rome from the barbarians. And so to the Romans, the people who were living further up north, and Hadrian's Wall today, if you kind of look at this map up here on the top, you can see it up here, and on this kind of close-up map, this is Hadrian's Wall right there. To the Romans, the people living up north were quote-unquote barbarians, and they needed to be separated from Rome. A little interesting note, Hadrian's Wall is going to be a massive project. Only later on, another Roman emperor named Antoninus Pius is going to actually kind of abandon much of the construction of the Hadrian's Wall and build another wall known as the Antonine Wall a little bit further north. So that's kind of just an interesting little side story, but I just want to focus on Hadrian's Wall and show you some images and details on it here. So that's in terms of where it is. So it's basically where today would be northern Britain or southern Scotland. I've been to Hadrian's Wall. It's a pretty cool place to see. So in terms of some statistics on it, it's 80 miles long. There are these massive forts that were part of it, 17 massive forts in what we call 80-mile castles. And the Roman soldiers would live there. There would probably been about 10,000 Roman soldiers living on this wall or living in these forts and these mile castles. And now, obviously, back then, the wall is believed to have been maybe 12, 15 feet high. Today, if you go visit Hadrian's Wall, as you can see from this first image here, it's not quite as big, right? A lot of it is, of course, eroded over the centuries, but you could actually go and walk pretty much the entire path of Hadrian's Wall. So I think that's kind of a cool little thing to do. And let me show you another image here. In this next image, I also want to talk about kind of the geography and what it all means in terms of this massive construction. And here's a nice image I was able to find. And, you can see the forts and what I'm talking about here, where there would be Romans that would live there. But notice just how open all this area is. Yeah, this is a modern photo, right? So you can kind of imagine back then there was nothing there. And you could see, I remember when I went to visit Hadrian's Wall, you could just see forever. And so if you're the opponents of the Romans and you know there's this big, huge 10, 15-foot wall with 10,000 Roman soldiers spread along these 80 miles, you may think twice before messing with them. And so Hadrian's Wall was a pretty impressive monument of engineering for the Roman world. So I think that's kind of a cool thing to remember about it as well. So it's a good place to visit if you ever a chance to go to England. A lot of people go to London. I tell people get out of London, go there. And there's also, by the way, a most beautiful places there called the Lake District. If you ever get a chance to go there near Hadrian's Wall, you have to go visit the Lake District. It's absolutely gorgeous there. But anyways, that's the story of Hadrian's Wall. And let me kind of talk about a little bit more in terms of what does it all mean and the legacy and eventually what happened. And so in terms of the legacy of the wall, the kind of points I like to mention is that it is one, just a couple quick points on it, just show amazing Roman engineering to build this thing and, to move everything and to have all the soldiers there. It really shows us Rome at its glory. In fact, this was built technically during what we call the Golden Age of Rome. And it also lasts for a long time, right? It was built during the time of Hadrian around the 120s AD, And, Rome is going to basically continue to control Britain until the year 410 AD. And so that's going to be, centuries until various tribes like the Angles and the Saxons, and those are, of course, stories for another day, come in and conquer. So hopefully that was interesting. If you want to learn more about Hadrian and the Wall, go ahead and click the little video on the story of Hadrian is impact in Judea, and you can kind of look at that. I'll link that particular video for you in the end here. But hopefully you found that interesting. It's just a few new things about a pretty remarkable piece of architecture and engineering for the Romans. All right, thank you everyone. Hope you enjoyed that.